Hi everyone, so in today's video I'll be talking to you about what I think is the best travel and vlogging camera under £400. Have you ever wondered what a professional photographer like me would take on holiday with them? This past summer I decided that I wanted something portable and light and something that I can actually just pop in my smallest handbag and go with it. Well, I'll let you know that it's not my work cameras. It used to be, but not anymore. And it's also not going to be the brand new Sony APS-C flagship camera, the A6600 that's just been announced. So I will tell you what I chose. It's actually the Sony A5100, which is a 4-year-old camera. And why I chose that, and despite the new announcement of the A6600, why I'm still happy with that choice. So I will be mentioning some comparative points between the A6600 and the A5100, and I might also pepper in some holiday snaps from this year. Let's see how it goes. So why the Sony A5100? Well, it's smaller than the A600 series of cameras that they make, which means it's very pocketable and very travel friendly, which is my main reason for getting a third camera. It seems to be built quite well, it's very sturdy, but at the same time it's also very light still. So I think that this definitely fits the bill. The second reason is that I wanted to buy something that wasn't too expensive, bearing in mind that this will be my third camera. I have two cameras that I actually use for work. Now this is a really cheap camera, relatively speaking, for the quality that you're getting. A brand new camera with a kit lens bundled in with it currently retails in the UK for £329. Now that price might still go down once the A6600 is actually released, or Sony might decide to actually phase it out. So if you are interested in the A5100, then it's probably worth looking sooner rather than later. I've dropped a link for a UK supplier in the description box down below. Okay, so the main reason why I chose this camera, crucially for me, is that I wanted to use my existing lenses. So it was important for me to have an interchangeable lens camera. Now, full disclosure, if you really wanted the smallest footprint possible with the camera, then it might be an idea to actually get a dedicated APS-C lens to go with it, because generally speaking those are smaller than the full frame lenses that you can also put in with it. Now the kit lens that I mentioned earlier, that's bundled with some of the camera bodies, is actually a really capable little lens, and it's a very good walk around lens and a very good starter lens. Other positives is that for such a small camera, the image quality and the video quality is actually really good. It has a cropped sensor but 24 megapixel sensor still. Now the full frame A7 III camera also has around 24 megapixels, but obviously a full frame. But I'm quite happy to use this camera, the A5100, as a third backup camera to my work cameras, because I'm very happy with the picture quality that it produces. It also has great autofocus for both still images and for video, so I don't have to worry if I kind of move around a little bit in the frame, because I know that the autofocus will follow me and I won't be out of focus. Now the best bit for vlogging obviously is the flippy screen, so I can actually see myself while recording, which is very handy. And you can also focus on the touch screen itself as well, so you can touch the screen and focus. Now I found these features actually really useful for just everyday things around the house, or for when I'm taking photos of flat lays for Instagram, for example. So actually I've used this camera a lot more than just for my travel and just for vlogging. It's been a very handy addition to my kit. That's addition to my kit. I also think that it's the perfect starter camera for beginners, so those who are just getting into photography. You can learn about the exposure triangle on this quite happily, and as I said, you can actually change the lenses as well. So as you progress, you might want to get some specialized lenses, and so you can swap out the lenses that way. It's relatively easy to use. In fact, my teenage daughter took hold of it when I first got it, and I just told her how to change various settings, and she was off with it. Enjoyed using the camera, and yeah, took lots of nice pictures with it. Now for the negatives. Now this is a 4-year-old camera, and tech has obviously improved a lot in the 4 years that this has been released. And the A6600 has a plethora of wonderful bells and whistles to go with it, but I'll tell you about the main negatives of the A5100. First of all, it has no IBIS, that's in body stabilization. This means that if you were maybe kind of vlogging out and about, then your video, your footage could be a little bit shaky. It could look a little bit jittery around the edges because there's no in-body stabilization. The way to counteract this is to get a lens that has that stabilization that will counteract it a little bit. Or also you could get a gimbal and mount this camera on a gimbal, which will help stabilize the footage. The other thing is it has no EVF, or the electronic viewfinder that other models have. This makes it slightly difficult, makes it very difficult actually, to see the screen and to actually see what you're focusing on, or to compose something when it's very, very bright sunlight. Also, it has no mic jack, which means that I am relying on the microphone that's actually in the camera itself. No, that's not an issue for me because I film in a small room, and hopefully you won't hear any kind of outdoor noises or anything like that. But if I were to film outside, and say if it was windy, then the audio would be compromised because I can't actually put in or plug in a separate directional mic onto it. Also, it has a relatively small battery, and there's a limited recording time with this, so bear that in mind if you were kind of thinking about this camera as a kind of your first vlogging camera, or if it's your kind of first camera for YouTube or Facebook Lives, anything like that. Now, all these things are not deal breakers for me because, as I've said already, this is my third camera. My main cameras, my work cameras, have all the features that I need. But as a third camera for my purposes, this absolutely fits the bill, and I'm absolutely delighted with it. I don't feel the need to upgrade to the A6600. I will tell you what the A6600 has over this. So it has a newer battery, a much bigger battery. It has a much better EVF. Well, it actually has an EVF, and it's a really good one. It has IBIS, the in-body stabilization. It still has the flip-up screen so that you can see yourself if you're recording yourself. So if you're a little bit more advanced in video and you like to shoot with picture profiles, then the A6600 has picture profiles, whereas the A5100 doesn't. Now, it has both a mic jack and a headphone jack. This means that if you were filming somebody else and you need to keep an eye on the audio in real time, then you're able to plug in a headphone into it and you can monitor the audio that way. There's no recording limit, so basically you could keep it running until either your battery run out, which I've already said is huge, so it could possibly last you a whole day, or your memory just fills up. But the Sony A6600 does come at a price. It is supposed to retail for $1,400 US. So it's up to you if that's worth it to you, if those upgrades are worth it to you. But as I said, certainly for me, the A5100 gives you the best bang for the buck for a travel camera, a vlogging camera, or if you were starting out in photography. Thank you. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to hear more video gear talk in the future, or any videos around wedding planning and wedding photography, then do please subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Oh, I'll pop in some of my holiday pictures in this last bit.